guys, I'm the Sky Spire, and welcome to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 analysis. After E3, where they revealed this game very first in the big spotlight, we have actually gotten a lot more information than you might have noticed. So here I am to not only show you an analysis of things you might have missed from the trailer, references from Xenogears and Xenosaga, as well as things that may predict the story in different ways. I also just kind of want to spitball here and there, but either way, if you're a fan of Xenoblade, if you are hyped for Xenoblade 2, or if you're not and you just want to know more about them, well, here I am to do just that. So to cover all of those bases, I'm going to first talk about the characters. I feel like describing every character will familiarize ourselves with a lot of the future things that I'm going to talk about. So we start with the main character. His name is Rex. He looks 15, and honestly, I think this is the only character whose design or voice I don't like. Like the armor, what are those pants? The thing is, apparently this open helmet in the back of his head is the space for a cat, who I think I'm going to love, because the thing about the cat is I kind of hope he's just there for show, just to be there and have fun as a cosmetic design, but there's no way. There is no way. My friend thinks that he's actually gonna die, so that's interesting, but I have no idea. The thing is, the Treehouse never even mentioned him. Or they might have. They might have just mentioned him. They don't mention what his purpose is, what he does. He's literally just there in the trailer in the back of Rex. And it's odd since we don't even know anything about Rex in the first place, his origin. Then again, Shulk didn't have interesting origins at first. At first, it was just he was a mechanic who worked in Colony 9 and then wielded the Monado and Dunban couldn't. So, it doesn't really mean that Rex has to do this, but Rex's fate starts when he meets Pyra, which I'll go to next. For a long time I've been calling her Homura, but Homura is the name of a Madoka Magica girl, so yeah, anyways, her English name is Pyra. The thing about her is, the things about her, plural, there's two of them, I'm sorry. I'm really not a fan of the fan service, because here's the thing, I'll tell you how this all started. When Smash Bros came around, everyone came into Xenoblade thinking it was just a meme fest of British people. Then when Xenoblade Chronicles X came around, the sci-fi fans and the people who didn't give a lot of attention to plot came around. And now I've seen, as soon as the spotlight happened, then I've seen artists on Twitter, you know what I mean by artists, drawing these characters. I saw someone draw Pyra in about an hour, and I'm like, oh no. People have actually gone and pre-ordered this game just upon seeing the trailer, and I can think of two reasons why, Pyra and Pyra. So, yeah, I'm not very happy about that, considering, like that is not what Xenoblade has been for at all. So, it's interesting. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the internet. However, that doesn't mean it doesn't make me mad. I really feel like it's going to ruin the fan base. It's going to tear another hole into it if Xenoblade Chronicles X and Smash didn't already. But either way, she can die if the core on her chest or Rex dies. Now, I'm thinking this might actually be the case for all blades, considering even though, yes, she is the titular blade of the game, and if you don't know what blades are, or drivers, I'll get to that in a second, I'm thinking that all the other blades also have a sort of thing like this, where either a core on their chest or somewhere on their body will break, or if the driver dies, then they die. Because I feel like it's weird that this blade right here, it's only specific to this. Now, if you didn't watch the Treehouse, you wouldn't know what blades and drivers are. So, drivers are kind of your ordinary creatures like Homs and humans and Nopon, but the blades are kind of these beings that supply a weapon to the drivers. So, for example, Pyra supplies Rex with what I like to call the new Monado. We have the wolf, Dromarch, supplying Nia with these sort of blue rings, etc., etc. As for those characters, I'm going to get to those in a second, Nia and Dromarch, but first, I want to bring up a little more about Pyra. I want to bring up this thing on her chest. Don't get distracted, look right there. That little emblem on her chest, this is not the first time in the series that it has appeared. In the Xeno series, not just the Xenoblade series. This has been called the Zohar in the Xenosaga universe. It's also known as Mariankind. Is this source of power? It's basically a godlike power that's thought to be unrivaled. It's a deity-like power. Lots of characters in the game want to gain control of it, and for different reasons. Now there's also Zohar emulators. Zohar emulators are sort of replicas of the original Zohar. They don't have the exact same function, but I want to bring these up because each one has a Hebrew number on it. For example, this one says 1, that X is a 1 in Hebrew. So if you look at Pyra's Zohar, the core on her chest, if you look at that, it looks like an X, does it not? Now, it's possible that this is actually just an English X, and the thing is, you can see that Rex and Pyra are now linked together because Rex has this sort of "you're my bit" tattoo on it, like right below his neck. You see that X? It's like, okay, so they're linked together, and he gets the tattoo. That's awesome. But I find that odd because you can also have like more than one blade. So does that mean you have to get a tattoo for each individual blade, or is Pyra just a special case? I'm willing to not compare Pyra to all of the other blades too much because she might just be a special case, but who knows. Now, the fact that she has the Zohar on her chest, I also want to bring up that this was in Xenoblade Chronicles X, check that out. I believe the Lifehold core was also shaped like the Zohar, but what does this mean? It could be a literal reference, because the Lifehold core is shaped like the Zohar, and it didn't really link to anything. It was just shaped like it, and it looked like it, and stuff. But, you know what? This could just be another subtle reference, and they could subtly try to make the Zohar this sort of unspoken logo in the series. But either way, there's nothing you can actually grab from this, and the trailer actually brought up a surprisingly little amount of story, now that I think about it. The only thing that you would actually hear in the trailer was, everyone in Ulris lived on the World Tree with their defined father, the architect. Now, what does he say? He says everyone in Ulris, like A-L-R-E-S or something, lived on the World Tree with their defined father, the architect. They called that place Elysium. So, is Elysium around the World Tree then? Because they're saying, like, because we need to get to Elysium because Pyra wants to get there. However, is that where, is that around the World Tree? Because you can see the World Tree from many places, including from the Giraffe-like Titan. So, it might just be that you're trying to find an arc, because you sort of travel through, between the Titans with these, like, little airships or something. Are you just trying to get there? And also, if the architect is Shulk, I'm freaking out. If the Divine Father, the architect, is Shulk, I'm going to freak out. But anyways, I'm sorry, I need to continue with the characters. So next up, there is Nia. Nia is the second driver that we know of. She also appears on the Create a Blade screen. And she's a sort of cat girl, a faunus girl, I think my friend called her. Him, her, her. And her blade, her signature blade, is Dromarch, Dromark, we'll go with that. He's a wolf. He's awesome. He supplies her with these sort of rings that she can fight with, but like, honestly, they're kind of like, I don't know how to describe them, but like, I love Dromark. The thing is, this entire game has an anime art style, and I was thinking, like, how would you make an anime wolf? And it doesn't even look that bad. I really like it. You can also see Nia's arts, which are Jaguar Scratch, Butterfly Blade, and Healing Halo. I'll get to the battle system later on after I'm done with the characters. Now, our third driver is Tora. Tora the Nopon. I love this sort of edgy look that's going for him. He has like this spiky hair, and I'm surprised that he doesn't have an eye patch, but hey. He looks very cool. I like him. He better have the kawaii, Nopon voice, because I did not like Tatsu's voice. But either way, I am really excited to see Tora. It's cool seeing that there's another, Nopon party member, but either way, the thing is, we don't know what exactly his blade is. I'm sorry, blue-haired girl with a cap on, that girl. We don't know anything about her. Now, this leads me to another theory. Here's the thing. We don't see Tora in the treehouse, right? Like, they never play as Tora, and as such, we don't get to know the name of that blue-haired girl. But this is what makes me suspicious. In the game, when they're trying to create a blade, they only have two options for who to create a blade with, that being Rex and Nia. So why isn't Tora on there? I didn't realize that Tora was a different case, you know? I didn't realize Tora was a character who for some reason, like, was different from Rex and Nia. It would either be one or the other. So this makes me think: is Tora not a permanent party member? Because Tora does appear in that one final shot of the trailer alongside Rex, Pyra, Nia, and Jomark, but is he not a permanent party member if you cannot create other blades for him? Even though Nia, we haven't seen her create blades, just by the fact that she's on the menu, you can assume that she can. So she can have 2 others aside from Jomark, kind of like how we know Rex can make Kareem and whatever the other one was called, Kareem. But we don't see that in Tora. So why can we not see that in Tora? Does Tora not have the ability to summon blades? That puts him at a very heavy disadvantage to the other 2 party members, so I'm guessing not. I'm guessing there's a legitimate reason for it. So is he that? Or, there's another theory. In both the Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X, there has been one traitor amongst your friends, and I'm not going to spoil who they are in the 2 games, but there has been. Is Tora the traitor? I don't think so, because honestly, this is kind of a blatant way of telling you this by saying, oh, he cannot do the same stuff you can, he cannot create blades because they will just go away as soon as he betrays you. I think that's a very blatant way of saying it. However, it's not outside of the realm of thought, so I want to bring that up. Tora might be the traitor. Otherwise, I don't think he's a normal party member that cannot use blades, because that'll put him at a heavy disadvantage. He might be kind of like Alvis or Mumkar in the beginning, or Dixon in that battle outside the Ether Mines, where they're just with you for one battle. Except that's still unlikely, because he appears with you in the treehouse, so I have no idea why he does not appear on the blade crafting screen. This is the most likely scenario. It's possible that every driver in the game can wield blades, but it's just that you need to do something specific first. Like, you need to gather a certain amount of materials, and then bring them to a very story-relevant NPC, and then he'll give you something that will make you able to summon blades of your own. And maybe in this treehouse demo that they're playing, only Rex and Nia have been qualified, and Tora hasn't. It's possible, and that is the most likely scenario, since Tora is still seen fighting with everyone else. He's seen participating in the chain attack. So yeah, that's the most likely scenario. Now, the next character I want to bring up, because those are all the big plot relevant characters. The next one is the only name that we know her by is Hikari. Hikari is this blonde-haired girl, which we've seen in both trailers, and in both trailers she's been seen looking out into the distance, so you cannot expect me to make any analytical deductions from that. There is nothing you can get from that. However, look very closely at her clothing. Yeah, you artists already know what Pyra looks like. No, I'm kidding. But she does look similar to Pyra in a way, in how she's clothed, in a way. Also, her weapon looks very cool, I mean, it looks absurdly long, but it looks kind of cool. But what I want to bring up is her outfit looks similar to Pyra's. Those 2, like, things in the back of her outfit that, like, kind of, like, dance around in the wind, those are exactly on Pyra's. It looks very similar. So I'm wondering, like, what is Hikari's deal? It's safe to say that she's also a blade, and right away I want to bring up that blades can wield their own weapons. Pyra's seen wielding the new Minato in the trailer. But, like, I find this interesting. I also like the idea of, like, individual blades just being, like, major characters. Because, like, it'd be a little disappointing if it was, like, I mean, I'm not saying it'd be disappointing, but imagine this. All the drivers, like, we have this big enemy driver, which is an enemy, and then he uses blades to fight you, or he just uses normal swords to fight you. However, I think it'd be very cool if there was just a blade anti-hero, or a blade antagonist, and something interesting happened like that. I really think that'd be cool. Just because the game makes you think that blades are sort of pawns to the drivers, but hey. Now, the next character I want to bring up is, I love this character. This sort of dark-clad captain lady. I don't know how to describe her, but I love her character design. She looks so cool. She looks so badass. One of the first things you see in the trailer is her fighting Rex and Pyra. Yeah, and she has these, like, she has these 2 swords. Each of them has a rose on it. I love characters like this, because this is another thing. One of my OCs looks like her, and it makes me very happy. Also, like, you know, just like strong, noble, cute in a way, sword wielding. Look up Krush from ReZero, Crusch. this is a thing that I love. But, either way, she doesn't say much. Does she say anything? She might be the one who goes like, I mean, it might be Nia, but either Nia or this girl probably says, I won't use that power, and I won't let you use it either. It's gonna be one of these two. It's probably Nia, though. But either way, I love her design. She has this sort of emblem on her forehead with like a shield and wings on it, so she might be part of like some sort of defense organization. But either way, she looks very cool. She can stop fire from the Pyromanado with that sword. I love this design. But this is the only shot where we see her. There's also a shot where like she's like just looking up and stuff. She looks great. I love her. Next character I want to bring up is the Wolf. I literally just think of him as the Wolf. He looks really cool. He's menacing. He kind of looks like a rival to me. I don't know why, but I don't know if this guy's a friend. In all the shots that we see of him, he's not really doing anything. He's kind of just standing there. In one of the last shots of the trailer, he's literally just looking at the gang. Or he's just looking at something and unsheathing his sword. It's a very big handle on that sword, by the way, very long. And it might be in the same place where Rex and the gang are going like, alright guys, let's go! Although the sky does look darker in the scene with the wolf. But yeah, he looks very cool. I like that mask. The next guy I want to bring up is this black-haired man right here. This black-haired guy has a very interesting blue sword, and he's fighting both Rex and Pyra. This is the scene where, that I brought up earlier, where Pyra is seen to be wielding her own weapon. So yes, blades can wield their own weapons. Pyra is shown with the Pyromanado, just like in the air. She's shooting fireballs with it. So I'm thinking like, how does that work? Because it looks like in this exact same cutscene, Rex is fighting with the Pyromanado. So yeah. Either way, this guy, he looks like a straight-up antagonist. He has this big armor on him, interesting sword, and they're fighting on one of these arcs that you use to go like when you're not on the Titans. But yeah. Also, speaking of the arcs, there's this one scene where like you're flying through the clouds and you see this gigantic dragon come up. Now, I want to bring up that in both Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X, there were some form of machinery. In Xenoblade Chronicles, it was the Mechon, and X, it was the whole freaking game. So this seems to be the only remnant of machinery that I can find in the trailer. In the treehouse, I believe in the villages, there's something like that, but in the trailer, it looks like we just have this big mechanical serpent of sorts. And also, yeah, it's freaking huge, which leads me to believe that you might actually be having battles on the arcs against these creatures, which means the arcs won't just be places which you just walk in and then, where do you want to go? This place. Okay, let's head off. It might be more along the lines of Wind Waker, where you're actually get in there and then you drive yourself to the next area. Just because it looks like you're going to have free roaming abilities inside of the Ark. That's just what I'm calling it, because it's not a ship, because it looks like you're in the clouds. Well, it could be an airship, but it doesn't look like an airship, so I'm just calling it an Ark. But yeah, I have no idea how on earth you're going to fight that serpent, so good luck. Now, the next guy I want to bring up is this guy. You only see him for like half a second in the trailer, but there's this big old buff burly guy. He might have the Scottish accent. I don't know if this guy or the next guy is the Scottish accent, but there's someone in the trailer who's like, "What's the matter? Are you the Aegis or aren't you?" And I thought it was the wolf guy at first, but then it might be this guy. I have no idea. Are you the Aegis or aren't you? I was going out for a nice wee stroll, and then I came across these young lads, and I asked them, "Where do you go?" Oh my god, I love that guy. Whoever has that accent, I love it. Because British accents are back, but Scottish accents are good too. Except for the main character, it looks like foreign as heck. But there's also American voice actors. I'm getting off track. The next guy I want to bring up is this guy with an eye patch. This guy with an eye patch has this glowing blue sword, and the reason I like this guy so much is because, one, I like how he's wearing his coat. Very, very dignified. Very cool. I like how he's wearing his jacket. He has this eye patch, but he reminds me of Dunban in a way. But what I like about this guy is this blue sword makes him recognizable. You can see in one of the wallpapers for this game, you see Rex, Pyra, Nia, and Dromart, but not Nia and Tora. Again, not Nia, or sorry, but again, not Tora. It's like, where the heck is Tora? What is Tora's deal? So, instead, we see this guy right here with the blue sword who's running off, and, so Eye Patch guy. And this blue-haired girl with a flower in her hair, which we haven't seen before, she has a cat tail. Oh my gosh, we have cat ears and we have cat tails. This is going to be a great game. Now right away I do want to bring up that in this wallpaper, each character, or each driver, is wielding the weapon that the blade gives them. Meaning it's very possible, in fact it's almost 99% probable that these two in the bottom left are a driver and blade. And just because they're in the wallpaper and not Tora, I'm willing to bet that this character is a party member. Now, that would complete a party of 4. Even though Xenoblade Chronicles only had 3 party members at a time, Xenoblade Chronicles X did have 4. So I'm willing to bet that this guy on the left right here is actually a sort of 4th party member, or a 3rd if Tora is not a part of it. But either way, he must be important in some way. And the cat girl, the second cat girl, the blue cat girl, has got to be his blade, no doubt. But that's everything that we see of him, so unfortunately I can't infer a lot from him, so yeah. Anyways, with all that out of the way, that's the trailer, which mostly gave us a bunch of story. It didn't actually show us, you know, it didn't actually tell us about story. It more just showed us all the characters in the game. As for the gameplay, we got that in the treehouse. So this is what the battle system looks like, and right away I want to say that this looks amazing. If there is anything bad about the original Xenoblade Chronicles or X, it would be the difficulty to adjust to all of these new mechanics. Because just take one look at Xenoblade Chronicles X's battle screen. It's like, yeah, there's a lot to take in here. So it's nice to see that it's not only very streamlined, but it'll work very well with the Joy-Cons, because on the bottom left and bottom right, you see 4 buttons, and you literally just tap one of the buttons on the Joy-Con to make it happen. So just press the button on the left Joy-Con and you'll select Pyra. It's very nice. Now, Fudor and Kareem are 2 blades that Rex summoned by using these core crystals that he can get from defeated enemies. So from defeated enemies, he can get a core crystal, and from that he can make a new blade that can be assigned to Rex or Nia. But yeah, so those are 3. I don't know what that thing on the left of the left diamond is, like that exclamation mark and whatever's pointing to it. I highly doubt it means put away all blades, you know, because just don't fight with a blade, because that would either mean, because one, you could do that just by clicking on the blade that you have active. Like right now, Rex has Pyra active, so it makes sense just for him to click on Pyra to turn her off. But 2, why would you do that in the middle of battle? Like, in the middle of battle, you're literally just standing there, and there's no way to unsheath your weapon in Xenoblade Chronicles. There might be an X, but either way, that might be it. I don't know. I think there's literally no purpose of it unless you're just planning on running away, but I have no idea. I don't think they talked about that. As for like why you would want to change between different weapons, as you can see, there's this little diamond to the left of their name, next to the blade's name, which displays an attribute. So Pyra's fire, Fudor is like light, Kareem is wind. So these actually come into play when you're doing like a chain attack, which I'll talk about later. On the right side, you see your arts. So you only have 3 at a time. 3 arts at a time, being Sword Bash, Double Spinning Edge, and Anchor Shot. I like how simply it explains it. It doesn't have a 2-sentence explanation like in the other games. So it's nice, and it's all you need to know too. Now this probably means that the arts themselves will be simpler as well. You won't have some of like Dunban's or Ryan's status arts, or Melia's whole gimmick with the elemental discharges. You might not have complicated stuff like that if the explanations are willing to be this simple. On the top left, you see levels and their and the character name, and the HP, obviously. And on the top left, on the extreme top left, you see something similar to what you saw in Xenoblade Chronicles. And what I like about this game is that it's not only taking inspiration from Xenoblade Chronicles when it comes to how it's going to handle its gameplay and plot, where it's going to be more focused on plot, but it's also bringing back this 3-meter system. So we know that the more auto attacks arts, the more you fight in battle, the more that will build, and especially if you do like back attack on the back, side attack on the side, then that will build up. You can use 1 full bar, one of the 3 bars, to revive someone if they die. However, they didn't show what would happen if you use all 3 of them. Because obviously in Chronicles, if you could use all 3 of them to make a chain attack happen, but that doesn't look like the case here. The chain attack is done through a different means. So that's interesting. But yeah, the one thing I'm glad that they did bring from X is having the enemy in the top, just locked, the enemy name and level and health locked in the top of the screen. It wasn't necessarily bad from Chronicles, where it was always above their head, but this is nicer. This is nicer, and the shape of the diamond allows for a good way to fit status icons on the screen. Another thing I want to bring up is that a lot of the enemies from Xenoblade Chronicles are back. So we have a Clab Bunnet, we have the good old Territorial Rotbart, never without the Territorial Rotbart, because that is just a staple. There's the Field Armu, there's the Winter X, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you'll already recognize. Now, the status conditions I was talking about, let's look at this more complicated gameplay right here. So right above the enemy's name, which says Bombardomus, you can see Topple. So it actually shows, and I really wish that this was in Chronicles, but it actually shows a meter for how long Topple will last. It doesn't look like there was a break one though, so it might not work the same way where it's like break Topple days. Then again, I believe in X it wasn't like that either. You can just topple them right away, right? I don't remember. But the other thing I want to bring up is, how do you know if you used art properly? Like, if you attack an enemy on the back, then it looked different in Xenoblade Chronicles. Not only did the number appear on screen, but it appeared with like a bang. So you can't see it too well in this picture. But around the number 369 on the enemy, you can see this sort of crescent moon. That is what appears around the number. The number appears bigger, and then it's surrounded by a crescent moon when you get the placement right. Now, I want to bring up the fact that on the left side, you see Nia is ready to use Toxin, which you can make her use. Like, they won't, your party members won't use their big, powerful art right away. Also, Tora has Shard. And again, Tora is capable of this. I have no idea what Tora is. And Rex is ready to use Flame. Now, what exactly are these? Well, as you can see, these your 3 arts in the bottom right, these will charge up, your 3 arts will charge up whenever you use auto attacks. Now, that 4th icon on the extreme right, the one that has a Roman numeral 1 on it right now, it will charge up every time you use an art. So you want to use auto attacks to charge up arts, and then use arts to charge up the big special art. Now, right now, while it's at a 1, Rex's big powerful art is going to be Flame, but in this picture where it's a 3, it's going to be Gust. And I think that's actually I don't think that's actually because it changes from 1 to 3. I think that's because he changes his weapon, because in the picture with 1 he's using Pyra, but in the picture with 3 he's using Kareem. So I'm pretty sure Kareem's big powerful art is Gust, but yeah. Now, when you use these moves, you can actually use them in clever ways. Now, if you go to this picture, this is what happened after Nia uses Poison. Now, or Toxin rather. This is right after Nia used Toxin. So, Toxin appears on the top right, and not only that, but you can see a lot of stuff in the top right. Now, this is a sort of branch. From this point on, you can choose whether you want the enemy to have Seal Stench, Seal Reinforcements, or Seal Blowdown. So if you want the enemy to have Seal Blowdown, you're going to want to use from left to right, a blue powerful art followed by a orange powerful art followed by a green. And this is exactly what they do in the treehouse. They use Virus from Tora, and then they use Gust, and then Kareem for some reason does this animation which has the word plague on it. I don't know why it says plague, but yeah. So it looks really nice. The next thing I want to bring up is the freaking typo! The freaking typo in the treehouse, bottom left. It says change character. How? How'd you miss that? Oh my god. Or you know what, they probably caught it, but like way too late. But they didn't waste time on the HUD to just escape it either. This menu looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the anime art style for this game. I'm pretty sure I've already said that. A lot of people don't, but like honestly, this is what 3D anime would look like, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. At least these pictures do. Like, look at Rex and Pyra. Also, I freaking hate how Rex is 15. Anyways, now, I want to bring up the stuff in the top. So, characters, skip travel. Again, skip travel is going to be the thing. You can just, like, you can probably not only go between all the different places on a Titan, but between different Titans. Quest log, because a bunch of side quests are going to be in this game, obviously. Core crystals is what we see, where you can look at your list of core crystals, and then you can choose a character to activate it and create a new crystal, which we see in Kareem. Question mark, obviously we don't know what that is, so I have nothing to say about that. Sorry, guys. We have both item lists and encyclopedia. So think of the encyclopedia as the collectopedia from Xenoblade Chronicles and I believe X. Yeah. This collectopedia was an X. Item list. Not sure exactly what that is. Does that mean key items? It might. Or no, item list just means like all the, you know what item list is. It's the item list. I don't need to talk about it. System. Now the thing is, it doesn't look like in the menu there's a way to change between day and night. This was in Chronicles. This wasn't in Chronicles X. In Chronicles X, you would need to change between day and night by going to one of the benches and or going to a bed, and then you can change the time from there. But in Chronicles, you could not only skip travel to wherever you want, you can also change the time of day to any, like at all, whenever you wanted, which helped it like a lot. But yeah, because in Chronicles X it would literally be like, okay, I want to do this in the daytime, so I'll change it to day, and then by the time I get to where I want to go, it'll be night, and then I'm looking at cutscenes in the dark. It's annoying, but yeah. Now, as for how this menu looks, we have Rex, which is level 7. We have Pyra, which is his fire-type blade and his signature, as well as Fudor, and later on Kareem. Same thing for Nia and Jomark and Tora and whoever the blue-haired girl is. And the blue-haired girl, I swear I've seen her from some anime. I don't know from which one, but I recognize her. That's all I'm saying. But battle order, in the very beginning of the trailer, you're only using Rex. So yeah, you can only fight with one. You have the ability to fight with only one character, but don't. Also, in this picture, I want to bring up that Nia is riding on Dromark. We've all seen this in the first trailer. It's just we couldn't exactly point out what was happening, but Nia is the second party member riding on Dromark. It is awesome. It is adorable. And this also signifies that you cannot separate certain blades from their certain drivers from their blades. I want to bring up that in the back to the menu, I want to bring up that Rex does not have that Pyra tattoo on his right below his neck like he did in that other cutscene. So I feel like that's just an art thing. I feel like that's just they didn't put it in the anime art, and for whatever reason they didn't edit it in. But yeah. Either way, these blades and drivers are always linked. You can't separate them, or otherwise like, Nia can't walk around on her own 2 feet, so yeah. I think the main thing about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that's really been having me intrigued, as if it wasn't already clear through this video, is Tora. Like, I really don't know what Tora is in this situation. Like, it really might be that they gave Tora a party member status just for the treehouse, but not blade creating status. But just by cutting him out of the blade menu, it makes it very, very odd. Now, right before we end this analysis off, I want to point out a couple more very small things. For one, in this picture with the Gust, Toxin, and Shard, you can also see, I believe that's Tora on the right side with art up that says Eagle Eye. It's safe to say Eagle Eye either means you'll be locked onto this enemy, or you'll be, or the enemy will, well, it can't be that the enemy only looks at you, because he's very clearly looking at, someone else. Or I actually can't tell who that is on the right, because it looks like, that looks like, Tora on the left. I don't know. Also, Tora actually is a tank. I want to bring that up. Tora, it's not only that the treehouse makes him look like a tank, no, he straight up is a tank. But yeah, so, the other thing I want to bring up is that, Fudor and Kareem, Fudor uses a sort of axe, so that's a melee weapon. However, Kareem uses a cannon, so it's a ranged weapon, and Pyra also uses a melee weapon. So, this begs the question, do enemies actually have, like, attack and special attack, defense and special defense? I don't know. The thing is, when we look at Kareem's stats, we see a couple of stats that characters might have. We have block rate, critical rate, physical defense, and ether defense. You see that? So that probably means that physical defense will mean that he doesn't have a lot of, or ether defense means that he has some defense from ranged attacks, and physical defense means he doesn't have much from physical attacks. It's safe to say that this transfers to the enemies as well. I know that ranged attacks and melee attacks were there in Xenoblade Chronicles X. You always had to have one ranged weapon and one melee weapon at a time. However, I don't know if the enemies actually I don't know if that actually mattered to them. I think they just had a defense stat. I'm really not sure. I don't remember. But either way, we know that both physical defense and ether defense is a thing in this game. So yeah, I want to bring that up. With all that out of the way, that is pretty much all that I could gather from the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Treehouse and trailer. I hope you guys enjoyed. And is there anything you wished from this? Is there anything you wish for Xenoblade Chronicles 2? What do you think of Tora? I want to know what you think of Tora, because I don't know what I think of Tora. And, what do you think of all this that I've had to say? Because I honestly, I am very much looking forward to this game. It comes out in the holidays of 2017. I am looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. With all that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure as always to like, comment, and subscribe for more on Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm the Sky Spire, and until then.